Hello everyone, I hope that you're doing fine. This is our first mini lesson of this second unit, which is called Gender Equality. And this is a brief analysis of Goal 5 from the Sustainable Development Goals from the United Nations. Let's have a look. So the contents for this presentation are, first, the essential vocabulary that I'm going to just read through it, and I expect you that you have a look, and maybe I'm going to stop in some concepts to see if they are particularly difficult. Okay, then I'm going to explain why it matters, what is all this goal about, then the targets, which are the little goals inside of this global goal. Then we are going to make the connection with history, women in the Athenian democracy and Roman citizenship. 5, it's women leadership today. So we're going to make a contrast, as you can see clearly from this title, from what happened in the ancient times and what is happening in modern times. Finally, I'm going to explain the summary activity that I intend you to upload on a virtual classroom. Okay, this is the essential vocabulary. The first one is gender equality, the most important one because this is the topic of this presentation, igualdad de género. Okay, so the other concept that I think could be a little bit confusing is number 7, domestic work, domestic chores. You could say both and they mean the same, labores domésticas. Okay, another one that also can be a bit confusing is partner, because we tend to think that partner is compañero. Yes, that's right, but also means novio, novia, pololo, polola, right? As we say this in Chile. So partner, it's the person that you are with, not necessarily married, you see? Okay, I also included concepts from the current situation, as you can see 12 and 13, pandemic and the coronavirus outbreak, because they are mentioned in this presentation, and also because it's important that you to handle these concepts in English as well, you see? Another thing that I think I wanted to include here is the difference between Greece, Rome, and Greco-Roman. Greece and Rome, Grecia y Roma, are the nouns, the nations, so that's why they are mentioned in this way. Greco-Roman is the adjective, and that's why it's different. Some concepts that you will learn this week also are slaves and metics, which are esclavos y metecos. These are concepts taken from the history lesson. And as you can see, also there are other concepts that I'm going to read out for you. The Athenian democracy, Athenian citizen, Roman citizen, democracia ateniense, ciudadano ateniense, ciudadano romano. The gynesium, it's gineceo, alright? I'm not going to explain this because you are supposed to watch the video in history and learn what this is it. Also, it's important to know what a patrician, a plebeian are. Patricio y plebeyo, you know, those are type of men in ancient Rome. Another concept that I wanted to mention is up to, that's 24. Up to means hasta, but this is an expression used with dates, with una fecha. So you may say up to 2005, up to 2020, whatever, something like that. Okay, so those were the essential vocabulary. So let's explain gender equality and why it matters. So first, the goal is to achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. Why is this important? Because women and girls represent half of the world's population and therefore also half of its potential. And today, gender inequality persists everywhere and deteriorates social progress. Women today continue to be underrepresented at all levels of political leadership. Okay? Across the globe, women and girls perform a disproportionate share of unpaid domestic work. And worldwide, 35% of women between 15 to 49 years of age have experienced physical and/or sexual intimate partner violence or non-partner sexual violence. What happens today? There has been some progress. More girls are going to school, fewer girls are forced into early marriage, and more women are serving in parliament and positions of leadership. Although these are not near to be the correct balance between men and women. And today, the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic could reverse the limited progress that has been made on gender equality and women's rights. The coronavirus outbreak exacerbates existing inequalities for women and girls across every sphere, from health and the economy to security and social protection. So that's why was this important to be mentioned. What are some of the targets? Okay, let's read out some of them. First, to end discrimination against women and girls, equal rights to economic resources, property ownership and financial services, end all violence against and exploitation of women and girls, value and paid care and promote shared domestic responsibilities, universal access to reproductive health and rights, and ensure full participation in leadership and decision making. I also consider it very important to mention the abortion law in 3 cases, which is the Chilean abortion law, which was passed into Congress in 2017 and became effective in 2018. Why is this important? Because this law is an advancement in the target of universal access to reproductive and health and rights. This law helps women to decide, well, just in these 3 cases, of course, but it is an advancement to help women decide on their own bodies and the rights of their own health in the case of interrupting a pregnancy. Let's move on to the women in the Athenian democracy and Roman citizenship. In this case, I think I'm going to explain just the activity. What you have to do is to complete the following paragraphs with concepts that you have learned from your history lesson, citizenship in the classical world. So here, as you can see, the idea is that you read out these texts and try to work out the concepts and see where do they go. You have 8 concepts and 8 blanks, so they should match somehow. This text is about ancient Greece, and this other text is about ancient Rome. So this is the activity. Okay. Then the following activity would be women leadership today. So some important ideas are that from 2000 the number of female leaders have doubled. And here we have a picture of Michelle Bachelet, former president of Chile, of course, and 15 of 193 United Nations member countries are led by women today. This is a very important information. So another thing is, up to 2017, 70 nations have had a female leader. However, women continue to be underrepresented at all levels of political leadership. And here we have another 2 female leaders, Micheline Kalmi-Ray and Pativa Patil, both former presidents of Switzerland and India. All right. What is the activity? Here the idea is that you observe the following series of images. Men have been digitally removed, and these were pictures published in the LUK magazine. So you could answer certain questions. First picture, G8 leaders watching football. On the left we have men and women, and on the right just women only. As you can see, it's Angela Merkel. The next picture is the House of Commons in the British Parliament. On the left we have a picture of men and women, and on the right, women only. Then the third picture is heads of state meeting the Queen. So in this gathering, the picture on the left shows men and women, while the picture on the right shows women only. The questions now are, how many women are among the world leaders? How many women participate in politics in the UK? So you have to go back and count in the second picture to answer this question. How much has the participation of women in politics changed since Greco-Roman times? This is an opinion question, but I think the answer may be rather obvious to all. Then, in your opinion, is it necessary to change this imbalanced situation? And how do you think is the representation of women in our country? Finally, the last activity is a summary of everything. It's a summary of, let's say, the history lesson and the English lesson on gender equality. So in this one, you have to complete the following text with concepts or summary ideas. Read out the whole text and try to think what would be the most important idea for each blank space. If you have problems with this, I suggest you to look at the version in Spanish that I included in the worksheet. Okay, so that's it. I hope that you learned a lot this week, and thanks for your participation. Okay, goodbye.